Anthony's always been my stand-up guy. Hey, you have no idea the pressure he's under, or you know what? He has a different perspective of you, and it's because he cares about you. No, that's Anthony. Okay? So at the end of the semester, it was December. Anthony came up to me in the hallway, and he had apologized to me. He called me aside and said, "Mr. Tracer, I want to apologize to you for being so lackadaisical in class." I hadn't even noticed. And I just looked at him and I said, "Anthony, what are you talking about?" He says, "Well, I haven't been so participative and I'm very focused on engagement in my classroom." And what he shared with me, he says, "Well, I've felt kind of lazy in your classroom." I said, "Well, Anthony, is there any reason you're really coming up to share this with me?" So I just wasn't picking up anything from his body language. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't see him like that in the classroom. He says, "Well, actually, I'm going through some cancer treatment right now, and tomorrow I'm going into having surgery for cancer." And I was like, wow, just blown away. I hadn't even picked up on this throughout the whole semester. And so we talked about that a little bit, and I thought, when I went home that evening, I need to do something for Anthony. He's been there since day one in our program supporting me. He had shared with me about a week or two before a gentleman named Eric Thomas out there who's inspired him as well as his sons in their life. He's a motivational speaker. And I had already connected with him just briefly. I find him very motivational as well too. But I've never dialogued with him. So I went out there and I found Eric Thomas. I wanted to see if he was on Twitter. I was very active by that time on Twitter. And I shared with him, "Hey, just want to let you know you connected myself and my student, Anthony Wilhite." And I sent him a second tweet right after. Just a FYI, he's going through cancer surgery tomorrow. Right away, Eric got back to me and says, "Hey, let's get on a call." And then we shared our phone numbers. This is like in 15 minutes. And I set up a three-way conversation between myself, Anthony, and Eric, who was traveling from Michigan at that time. My point of the story is this. It's very real. And when I came across this, I'm like, my gosh. There's adults out there, and there's adults who really care. This is not just about business as well, too. Okay? So I share that to convince you of that as well, too. I know when I first looked at Twitter, I was like, oh, Twitter's for kids, just like Twix is for kids, right? Just didn't make sense to me. Why would I use it? But you can think, how many people could you connect with on Twitter? You know these people, not just for your personal lives, but for your business life, because that's why we're here today.